Well, hi everybody, and welcome back to MP, your friendly catamaran. So you will have noticed this is part 2 of our haul out time video. In part 1, you would have seen some of the initial boat maintenance and repairs going on, as well as our visit to family in South Africa.
And now?
What do you mean? You must talk to the camera, dude.
No. Yeah, but that's your thing. You're the YouTuber here, not me. I'm not a YouTube blogger.
I've got a daughter paying for me now. Dad's a sailor, you know, he doesn't have money anymore.
Yeah, don't worry, I won't have money anymore after this either.
And then of course our trip up the east coastline of the Western Cape in South Africa to attend our son's wedding. Michael with the bow tie, it's looking really good, man.
He did, yeah, the other two did.
Hey, dude.
That's a nifty little camera, that.
Yeah, it's a little GoPro. Nifty is my middle name. Joey, you're looking very good, eh?
Not so sure about the scanning business going up and down.
You are?
Are you sure you want to stay with my brother? Are you know?
Absolutely.
Oh. Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. Camera. What do you mean? Catamaran ostrich. Oh, look at the shoes. Those are like really fancy Gatsby shoes, eh? And Mum, oh, that is Gatsby. Very good. Hey, yeah.
Hello.
Very Gatsby. How are we all doing here? Yeah, look at this.
Oh yeah.
Very good.
Super fancy. I can't say I
Brother?
represented.
No, you're very well
I think
represented.
so.
You're looking very good. Yeah. This is my video camera.
Really?
Looking good, eh? Now guys, before we get into party mode, where my uncle tucked in for an early evening, let me just say that this man, my father's brother, that's my Uncle Norman, is responsible for my passion of sailing the mighty seas. There are many stories I could tell, one of how he took part in the very first Cape to Rio yacht race, I believe back in 1971, and how he was involved with well-known yachtsman Arthur Holgate in building South Africa's then biggest yacht called Antares. These were men of the ocean, men with adventure in their hearts and the sea in their veins. And I remember so well my Uncle Norman, Aunt Bobby and the kids heading out for the Caribbean from Cape Town in South Africa all those years ago. Times before we had GPS technology as we have it today. Kids removed from school to cross the oceans on a boat before homeschooling was even thought of. And he completed a yacht called Good News to do all this on. And just to make sure this family tradition lives on, I love this photo of him standing here with his grandson looking at Good News when it recently visited Cape Town. And of course now renamed, but there it is. That's very good. Not too much though. An awesome wedding indeed. We are very proud of Terry and Yolandi. The drive back to Stellenbosch, which is not far from Cape Town, is a day's drive. Now in my last video, folks showed an interest in the South African landscape, so I will let the camera roll a while as we journey home. So driving into Franschhoek and Stellenbosch where we live, one has many wine farms one can visit. This is one that we stopped at just before we got home. So something we had a good chuckle about over a glass of wine included one speeding camera, one traffic officer, and us. We certainly have been at sea way too long. So picture this scenario. We are traveling at a speed which is probably a little on the high side as we are driving up an incline. As we get to the top of the rise, we observe a radar speed detector, and it seems to me that we have been caught a little over the speed limit by a traffic officer who is perhaps being a little sneaky by placing the camera here. So, man on a mission, I decide to film the entrapment situation in an attempt to have the fine waived. Whilst I'm displaying my dissatisfaction to the GoPro camera, I notice the traffic officer sitting in his vehicle across the road watching me. He suddenly looks a bit excited, he's waving his arms around. Great, let's get this on, I think to myself. I turn the vehicle around and I head in the officer's direction. I stop the car opposite him, I hop out, and I enter into a debate with the officer, suggesting that the camera has been set up in a spot unfair to automobiles heading up a hill. I suggest this might be entrapment. The officer looks bewildered and he says, "But sir, the camera is pointing the other way. It is recording the speeds of vehicles traveling in the opposite direction to you." So, what does a man do in my position? Well, what do you do when you're embarrassed like this? Officer, have a good day and keep up the good work. And another spot we stopped over at is the well-known farm and restaurant fairly close to our farm called Boschendal. But many restaurants, wine cellars and tourist attractions around this area. And not to bore you with all of these, I think in our last video I mentioned Anna's sister Chris, who visited us all the way from Belgium. So let's get back out to that tour that we did with Chris, and we hope you enjoy. Signal Hill in Cape Town. Signal Hill, and now to be more precise, the Lion Battery, holds the Dutch cannons which were relocated from the castle to this location by the English when they took over the Cape. The first signal fired from here was on 4 August 1902. The firing of the cannon is a daily occurrence and happens at 12 noon each day, and is therefore referred to as the noon gun.
That was cool. Good one.
Yeah, so one of my party tricks here is to take visitors up here, play the whole scenario down a bit, and then watch their reaction as the cannon fires. Sadly, we can't share everything with you here. I mean, it's a pity because it's such a beautiful part of our region, a beautiful part of the globe. Anyway, let's move on down to Cape Point, the very part of South Africa so many sailors speak of in reference to the Cape of Storms. A beautiful spot in our globe, and incredibly pretty to sail around, but definitely a place to respect and avoid at sea in poor weather conditions. Anna and I have first-hand experience of this. But here we are, we're visiting it from land, and we hope you enjoy the beauty of this pristine place. We South Africans like to think of this as the most southern tip of Africa, but in reality that belongs to Cape Agulhas to the east of Cape Point. As a result, the Tourism Board has carefully worded this famous picture site as the most southwestern point of the African continent. And moving along now, I took the girls to Boulders Beach, where masses of penguins hang out. They roam about freely, sometimes crossing the streets, making homes in neighboring gardens, and so on. We would love to share so much more of our trip to South Africa with you. The country is amazing in so many aspects. It carries with it a huge diversity, not only in nature, but in its people too. A country struggling to sort out the differences which really belong to the past. A country of huge division, but also a people who carry a spirit of reconciliation. There are politicians here who seek to divide, and there are those who seek exactly the opposite. What I have seen on the ground is a country of beautiful people who seek a better South Africa for all. Come on, South Africa, the world is watching, and we can do it. So these guys are using old motor cars to generate craft, right?
Yes.
And this is all the way from Zimbabwe?
Zimbabwe, yes.
Ah, so this man is bringing these things all the way from Zimbabwe, from old motor cars. You're making these things. That's fantastic, huh? I hope a lot of people are supporting you, yeah?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yes, see, man, so the nice thing about traveling is meeting up with good old buddies, and here are my old BVI buddies, Jenna and Gareth Donaldson. Hey, man, these are great people, eh? Hey, gents, good to see you again, man.
Hey, how's it? Nice to see you guys again.
They say this dude looks like my brother, eh? But he's a brother from another mother.
Yeah, what do you think? Friends? Friends? Gareth, friends.
Cool stuff, man. Time to go, folks. This video has had precious little to nothing to do with sailing, and I apologize for that. It does, however, share our thoughts and feelings as we as sailors return home to be with our family and friends for a spell, to return to the country of our roots. I think we will run an episode 3 to our Catamaran haul out, which will show our return to Impi in New Zealand, our maintenance work, and the launching of Impi for another season of sailing the mighty oceans. Goodbye everyone, be safe, look after others, and let's make the world a happier place for all.